Congratulations. You have discovered another meta egg. This is where we get together and explore extreme fan theory. And there is no two individuals that I know of that have the extremist of fan theories than Noah Campbell and Alex Fulton, two individuals who you might have known from Think Tanks, which we often do together. It's kind of like a rolling roster there at Think Tank, and I've done shows with both these individuals. Alex, I've known for a long time because we were just talking about, gossiping about how long we've been into the field. But I'm bringing these two in the arena here in the capacity of film analyst. And Noah specifically said that he would like to do this movie, one battle after another. And he specifically requested Alex for this film. So Noah, you have some explaining to do. Why have you brought us together here tonight?
Well, first off, meta eggs are really just rabbit poop. Okay. That's a conspiracy you need to know from Big Chocolate. Okay. Think about it. Easter eggs. It's just rabbit poop. They cover it up with sugar and some fancy packaging.
Easter eggs is rabbit poop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tasty.
That's deep, bro.
Sorry, we're supposed to talk about Christmas, not Easter on this one. Let's talk about the Christmas adventurers, but it relates, I swear. Explaining to do. Well, basically because I only know Alex because he's I think I kind of was made aware of your work because of the I think Stanley is a bear article. I think that's the first thing I saw. And then it was an interview with Bill Klaus about like PTA, about Phantom Thread, which I thought was really super interesting. And so Alex shares this obsession with Stanley Kubrick and Paul Thomas Anderson. So that's why I wanted to talk about One Battle After Another with Alex for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the thought. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Did you happen to listen to the one I did on Sync Book, the book club?
Yes,
talk?
I did. Yes, I did.
So I'll probably be repeating myself a little bit from that.
I think there's a lot more to get into. That's
yeah,
one of the
sure.
reasons I wanted to get you here because they seemed like stuck on a single topic for a lot of that episode.
Probably,
so
yeah.
it seemed irrelevant. There's more interesting things to talk about, in my opinion. But anyways,
yes,
yeah. So like to start, I mean, this movie is it's suspiciously timed. That's like the one thing I want to say. So like you'd mentioned Willie.
It's made off of a book though, isn't it? Like
yeah, Vineland by Thomas Pynchon. It's the second movie that Paul Thomas Anderson has made. Yeah, it's inspired by Vineland. It's inspired by Vineland.
Well, it's definitely inspired, but it does take place in the past. But what you're saying is that it's time to correlate to current events. Is that what you're saying?
Well, bizarrely so. Like when it was being made for 2 years ago, I think was filming. And it was released last fall. I mean, now we're looking at like open civil war in Minnesota, right? Where this film is all about it. Well, I mean, like it's a bit crazy. It like the timing of it. I don't know. It's worth noting.
An interesting
about ice, though. I mean, that's like one of the first things I wanted to ask you guys is because is that what you take their? What are they called? What is their specific group called? The 47 or something like that?
French 45?
French 45. 75. What's the significance of that?
That's a cocktail, as far as I know.
I would never take numbers away from Alex. Always trust Alex when it comes to it.
Yeah, I am the number man, the number painter. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you brought up Minnesota. I just thought of this week. Well, one of the things the first thing I learned about this movie was before it came out, they announced the title of it, but then they changed the title. So the original the real title, One Battle After Another, but the original title was The Battle of Backtown Cross. And I immediately, when they announced that, I went to the gematria calculator and typed that in, and it equaled 237. Battle of Backtown Cross.
Which I think is a better title. I don't know why he changed it. Honestly, it's a better title.
Yeah. Well, I posted this, and then he changed the thing. So I was like, well, maybe he didn't want it. Maybe he thought it was too on the nose or something. But anyway, well, the crazy thing is, so, okay, it was Bill who went to see it, and his ticket, the printout on the ticket said the Battle of Backtown Cross. It didn't say One Battle After Another. And he recognized that as overlaying with the word Backtoon. as in the Mayan calendar, the unit of time that expired in 2012, and Baktun. And then, so the Battle of Baktun crossing the Baktun would be what happened in 2012. You cross the end of the Baktun.
Well, one of the Baktун's like a unit of time, right? So there's
Yes,
that makes crazy.
it's the end of the 13th Baktun is the thing. But so the really crazy thing is this movie came out September 26, 2025. That's exactly 666 weeks since December 21st, 2012. So the Battle of Bakhtan Cross.
Exactly 666 weeks after the end point of the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's like kind of encoded.
It's the end of one phase.
Because you're talking about. I don't know if people understand this. I understand it now, having done interviews with you earlier about your seals. You have multiple like timestamp seals, and one of those being 666, I imagine.
Yeah. I've got 5 numbers, key numbers that I use, and they're all mostly like have their own mimetic power. But 666 is one of them, and it's actually they're all kind of tied together mathematically. It's really boring, maybe, but like. Bother it, but
you're making me feel like a nerd for subscribing to your Substack now. It's really boring.
Yeah. It's extremely boring.
It's almost overkill. I think it's overkill sometimes.
Well, it's just
because
the numbers,
your points, you're driving points home, but I don't think people can map out why the points are significant sometimes. You get what I mean?
If you follow his work, it's well laid out. I mean, in an interview, because this is second nature. This is Alex's just language, right? So I think we're assuming people watching this right now already understand cryptocubrology. But if you read his articles on Substack, it's explained. It's well done.
We should take this a step further, maybe, and just keep talking. Let me pull something up soon.
Okay, so like where I kind of wanted to start was the idea of, okay, so Paul Thomas Anderson, first off, I love him. He's my favorite living director by far, and I think might be my favorite.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, big time. So he's a Gemini Cancer mix, and so am I. Like different mix of planets, but he's always got new ideas. His films are constantly playing with different ideas, but there's always a very honest emotional core. Okay, this is someone who is estranged from his mother, and that is laced into all of his films. You know, like he hits these notes of sentimentality, but they're honest. They're not. It's not cheesy. It's not fake. You know, it's not fake sentimentality. He minds his own life and his own emotions, and that's why they hit so hard. You know, he always has a mother who's run off, who's not there. You know, and in this movie we see it really directly. Okay, now I don't know that he's ever talked about.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of mother problems in Magnolia,
and father
there's a
problems.
Ton of like Punch Drunk Love would definitely have the whole. I mean, that's basically him, right? Does he have that many sisters and stuff? I imagine. But,
no, I don't believe so.
Yeah,
not that
makes
I know
sense.
of. But like Boogie Nights, if you want to see the most personal part, the scene where the mother is just screaming at him in his room after he gets home, that feels very personal. And there's a shot where, because he's very close to his father played a character, Goulardi, who was like like a closed caption TV or something, not closed caption, but like network. I don't even know. Anyways, he like showed horror films, late night horror films on TV, something like this. And like, there's a scene where he runs out of the home. I'm going to be a big star, Mom. And he's got like drool running down his face and stuff. And the dad is just like, you can just see the dad living in misery, you know, under this like psychotic woman. That feels so personal. Like, I swear to God, that's like PTA just showing his life, showing his childhood. But
you really think his mom was that terrible?
It feels real. You know what I mean? That scene feels real. Like, I don't know, but has he ever talked about it? I've never seen him talk about it. We just know he's estranged from his mom.
Well, we know his dad is Giuliardi.
Yeah. He called his film production company Giuliardi Films. So like, he has this deep resonance with his father and has cut his mother out of his life.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Okay. But and yet he's such so I mean, but this movie, like in his late career, he seems to be like, I mean, this is a very feminist like kind of movie. Like, and
Sure.
his films have been very, very like women focused, and he's
Yes.
like, so it's
His
almost like,
obsession with female musicians too is a through line.
yes, that's true. But
Fiona.
Yeah, Fiona.
I mean, his wife, Maya Rudolph.
Mhm.
Basically, when we came out of this movie, Erica said that it perfectly encapsulated the what is it called, Tikkun Olam, the Jewish like revolutionary spirit. It's just like a pure transmission of like the feeling of like that kind of I would call it naive, youthful way of looking at the world.
Well, the first half hour especially. The first half hour to me is almost satire. I view it as pure satire. And it's funny because I just got off reading Umberto Eco's Foucault's Pendulum, and he has a whole section in there describing this youthful revolutionary spirit as being just ruled by sexual energy, which this film shows, right? Like Perfidia Beverly Hills is getting off on power. That's what it's all about. She ultimately, I mean, she might actually align with her beliefs, but the whole beginning, they're just throwing out all this like all these very left-wing revolutionary ideas with no consequence, and not consequence, but no depth behind it. Like they're other than the immigrant issue, which seems to be taken very seriously because in the end, that's what the movie's about. But they're just throwing out like catchphrases in the beginning with like this soundtrack, and it's shot to be sexy, and she's just getting off like they're doing these like terrorist acts. She's like, no, we gotta screw now, we gotta do it now, you know. And then she gets off on Sean Penn's character because he has power, and she's able to elicit power over him. But like if you view that whole thing, and like you get to the point where they're robbing a bank and they're wearing COVID masks. And I don't know how far you want to go if I can say the name of the. She's like, my name is Jungle. I don't know if I can say it on your channel.
Go ahead, do it. Fuck it, man. No, go do what you got to do, bro.
My name is Jungle Pussy, and like they're wearing COVID masks.
Not that loud, bro. Not that loud.
Well, like can we take this seriously? Like, and what I love is it's meant to like sort of like show these excesses of youthful revolutionary activity that has no basis in reality. Like, obviously, these people aren't rallying people to their cause. You know, it's absurd what they're doing. And so that's the beginning, but then it becomes very sincere the rest of the movie. The story of a father, you know, who's fallen on hard times and who's had his life mission taken away from him. You know, and by the way, so Perfidia she's named after a Mexican song. Okay, have you guys looked into this?
No.
Okay, so it's a Mexican song from the perspective of a man, okay, who's had his woman leave. Okay. And the song is actually, the Mexican version of the song is played. So it's about both Sean Penn's character and Leonardo DiCaprio's character, okay? But it's actually played in the scene where Sean Penn walks out of the crashed car with his face full of blood, okay, walking down the road, because ultimately the song is, she's wrecked two men, right? She's destroyed their lives, okay? Because Sean Penn, his character could have reformed because he actually loves black women. He loves the power. He's extremely attracted to it. If she hadn't denied him, if she'd actually gone all in, he would be a completely different human being. You know, he would have accepted his daughter as his own and raised her. Like, that's so clear when you watch the movie, especially the scene where her daughter is like bad mouthing her as a rat in the car. And he's like, your mother was a freedom fighter. You know what I mean? Like, you see this moment where, like he loved her. Like he legitimately respected who she was. That moment changes the whole movie. Okay. And the song actually, I'll just pop up the lyrics for a second, which is important to know. The lyrics actually have these lines of like, I've searched for you wherever I go and I can't find you. What would I want with other kisses if your lips no longer want to kiss me? This is the English translation. It's in Spanish. Okay, this is really interesting because the song ultimately is more about Sean Penn than about Leonardo DiCaprio because it plays during his scene. So it says, who knows where you could be? Who knows what adventures you're having? How far you are from me? Okay, so now think about him joining the Christmas Adventurers Club. Okay, because the end of the movie, he's walking down the road and his face is completely red. Okay, now we're talking about Santa Claus, and they call him Saint Nick. All hail Saint Nick, right? That's a part of the movie. So they're directly collating Santa Claus to Saturn, which of course it always has had that connection,
right?
And Saturn.
There's a whole bunch of luggage with that, but yeah, just to
100%.
Go ahead.
But they're leaning into more Santa Claus as Saturn than Jupiter, because Santa Claus is both. It's the mixture of Jupiter and Saturn as Sag moves into Capricorn. But at any rate, so his face is fully red, and Saturn has just moved into Aries, and the color of Aries is red. So this film was released in the interim after Saturn had moved into Aries and retrograded back into Pisces. So there's this whole mixture of things. With the Christmas Adventurers Club. Yeah.
Yeah. Hail Saint Nick. To be honest, I saw it in the theater, and then I haven't really watched it since. So I'm trying to just like.
Oh, you didn't do a second watch.
I haven't actually. I've looked at it a little bit. Like I've gone into I've been syncing it with various Kubrick movies, and like I tried syncing it with 2001 because I felt like there was this resonance between that shot of his boner and the monolith.
Get it up.
The way, which maybe I'll get
when he's looking down at it.
Shit. Yeah, it's just like shot from below, and with his, and it's sort of just like it mirrors.
It's the monolith.
Yeah, it is. It's the monolith. His face is the sun, but then it's the fact that his name is Sean Penn, which is Penn, penis, and Sean's shining sun, the sun. So that's shot in 2001 of the sun shining with the monolith in front of it as the pen. I mean, he's like the total embodiment of the monolith of that shot.
Yeah, so, and also his penis impregnating Perfidia is the gateway to a whole separate world. Like Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't leave the revolution without his daughter,
Right.
He wouldn't have gone into hiding and just become an alcoholic.
Absolutely true. That's the star child, and her actor's name is Chase Infinity, which is a combination of fucking Nicole Kidman's character from Batman Forever and Buzz Lightyear's stuff. So it's like multiple Kubrick references. She embodies that. So
right,
this is very Kubrickian kind of casting.
So that's sort of to tie Kubrick in another way, which I keep trying to get to this point, and we're doing interesting tangents, so I haven't quite got there yet. So Paul Thomas Anderson comes out. His father is in the industry. I'm not saying he was a powerful executive, but he was in the industry, so he had connections. He grows up in San Fernando Valley, and he winds up getting funding. Like his first movie, A Hard Eight, has Samuel L. Jackson and Philip Seymour Hoffman and Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, sorry, Philip Baker Hall. And was it Gwyneth Paltrow, the female lead? Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was a big name. So he has these huge names in his first film, and he's like 24 years old or something like that. Like, it's insane. And then he's invited onto the set of Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, he's one of the only people who wasn't involved in that production who was invited on. He got to walk around because he was in talks with Tom Cruise to do Magnolia. So he seems to have been.
Well, he'd already made and directed Boogie Nights at that point.
Yes, correct. So he was a big deal, but like Kubrick was not.
Cruise's role in Magnolia is like that lines up, that tracks.
Yeah, because he did the most repressed role possible, and then did like the most, like, they're polar opposites, right? It was like a huge relief. Like Tom Cruise has said that's one of his favorite roles, was being in Magnolia, especially after spending 2 years as a year and a half or whatever as Bill.
Just parroting everything everybody says.
Yeah. So, well, this is what I'm trying to get to. Like, Paul Thomas Anderson was given like complete freedom to make whatever films he wanted from a very early age. Like, bizarrely,
in a way that Kubrick, like in the same kind of like free licensings that Kubrick mysteriously had.
Well, Kubrick had to fight for it. Kubrick didn't start with that. You know, Kubrick still had Spartacus. You know, he was brought into
to
Spartacus.
maneuver his way. That's something like Tom Cruise is really proved to be really good at, is the politicking of Hollywood and like how to get the movie made rather than like and how to navigate the waters of the Harvey Weinsteins of the world. So that's how Todd Field got his movie made, and he's a part of that whole thing because he was in Eyes Wide Shut, friends with Tom Cruise, and anyway.
So I just want to get to this point. Sorry, I'm building too much background around it, but I'm trying to like make the point that it seems like Paul Thomas Anderson was gifted this freedom in Hollywood for whatever reason, and it feels like one battle after another. Given the timing of it, given how it's like this like pumping up youthful revolution, you know. Even though I feel like it's like a having his cake and eating it too film, like I think he's making fun of it to a certain extent, but he's also, you know, you can also view it as like this is a party movie about how fun revolution is. It almost feels like this was the movie that they called him in on. They're like, okay, we've let you have all the creative freedom you've wanted, and we need you to do this now, which maybe is not the case, but there's just like a vibe of that. Even though I know he's been trying to make a film based on Vineland for like since the 2000s, so this has always been on the back burner for him.
Yeah, so you're kind of saying that this movie might have been more in the world of propaganda than.
Well, I wonder about that because his films are not political. You know, they're social. They're obviously socially progressive.
And arguably, this movie's. I mean, it is political, but it's also like
it's not really. That's not the focus.
It's not really like smartly political. It's just kind of like
it's not even poignant or directed. It doesn't seem directedly political.
The real heart of it is the whole like is the family and the father-daughter kind of thing. But so I mean, it kind of makes sense if you want to say that, and it is so well timed. And like beyond that, like what I told you, you know, like 666 weeks thing.
Yeah. But isn't that what Paul Thomas Anderson, as a profoundly creative, brilliant director, do if they're like, we need you to make this movie about immigration politics right now? Wouldn't he make it about the father and daughter and just have the politics as cheap dressing?
Well, I mean, I feel like the Christmas Adventures is kind of like disclosure in the same way that Eyes Wide Shut is disclosure. Like, I feel like Eyes Wide Shut and the Christmas Adventures are talking about the same, like, secret society or whatnot. And there's like a little bit of like a nudge, wink, wink going on between the directors and the audience and saying like, this is because the Christmas Adventures aren't to really be taken seriously. They're almost kind of a joke. There's like a comedic part to them in the whole movie, but at the same time, it feels like he's taking the existence of a similar, like a secret society, seriously.
Yeah. Well, where politically, I think the best point made was the fact that the Christmas, one of the members of the Christmas Adventurers Club is pissed off that their wetbacks are being put out of work by the incursion in Bactoon because they hit this chicken joint and they're like, oh, one of our guys, he's employing those Mexicans there. He's not happy about this, which was like a pretty great. That's pretty great.
And so what you're saying is like Bacton Cross would be, because it's a sanctuary city, is you're connecting it to Minnesota in the same way that what's kicking off in Minnesota and it being a sanctuary state.
That was the other part of what I wanted to say from my original point. The Battle of Bacton Cross equal 237 in Gematria, which is interesting because so does Minneapolis, Minnesota, the town where all this stuff is popping off. Minneapolis, Minnesota equals 237.
Wow. Yeah, that's heavy.
That's a lot to deal with.
The timing is a bit much because we see.
I've got this picture. I don't know how to get it shared though. Does anybody know?
Oh okay. Yeah, here.
Upload it. Oh yeah.
Oh.
So I've been doing a lot of this stuff with like Shining dissolves, syncing it with the Shining, and then overlaying. And this is sort of what I got from it. Nice. Ullman, which is great because like this whole scene in The Shining between Ullman and is like the homosexual undertones are just like absurdly off the charts. So it's just perfect. Anyway, that's all. I just think it's funny.
What is the homosexual undertone in that scene?
Well, you didn't notice?
Well, I'm not sure. Now that you mentioned it, I'm sure when I go back and rewatch
it's buried pretty deeply.
Yeah, I mean, well,
come on. Well, the whole
first introduced inside of
he's reading a Playgirl, right?
He's reading a Playgirl. I think that's probably the biggest kickoff.
Oh yeah.
So he's sitting in the office, and they walk up on him, Barry Denon as Watson, and then Ullman, and they're just aware they're looking at each other and all these things that they're saying, and it's really, there's a whole reading that you could make it that's why he's rejecting Wendy, because he's.
I thought of this scene. I thought of Ullman's office because the whole thing about his window, right, is like this big to do about this fake window that doesn't make any sense. But when Goodwin got Tony Goodwin, isn't that the guy who's like one of the Christmas
Tony Goldwyn, yeah.
Goldwyn, who is the G from MGM.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, he seems like he would be in a secret society, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes. And then but he was in Ghost, right?
Yeah, he was in Ghost.
And Ghost
the bad guy in Ghost.
37s and 42s were just like drenched.
But he was actually Fitzgerald, the President Fitzgerald on Scandal, which deals with a lot of like the same theories of having like these underground fixers and whatnot. What? Yeah, he's got this name that's like totally like a mix of different presidents, like John F. Fitzgerald. Like it's weird, like what his name is. But anyways, there's just like this weird connection of like this like underworld of scandal spin or something like that. But there's something when he goes into that office, he's going into like in the same way that, how like certain people have analyzed The Shining, how it doesn't make sense when they walk around the hotel. And one of that evidence is the picture in the back of Ullman's office. Like people have mapped out how they got to Ullman's office and there shouldn't be a window there. And so it's a totally fake window. But when he enters into that room where all of the Christmas adventurers are, they have like this diorama like window behind them. Do you know what I'm saying? That's out of place. Mm-hmm. And it's like a business meeting, right? They're going in there and they're having a secret meeting, and to this labyrinthine way for him to get in there, like you're in the Overlook Hotel or something.
Mm-hmm. And that's like the Ronald Reagan house, I think. That whole house that they filmed that scene in.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's crazy that you're in this house and then suddenly they're in like a subway system. Like it's crazy the tunnel they walk through.
But if I remember correctly, it's almost like one take, or like there's a little bit of a steady cam work going in there. So because you're like, oh my God, like that, this isn't a fake set. They're going into a bunker. There's like a real bunker here. That's kind of dope.
And it kind of is contrasted with the apartment of the sensei, which is that shot is amazing. Like there's just room upon room where it's almost like the polar opposite, where there are all these people, living in this space, and there's room after room of different families and stuff. That's a beautiful shot, by the way, when you watch the movie again, which you both must.
I was hypnotized. I mean, speaking of shots, the last car scene when they're going up and down is so hypnotic, man.
Yeah. And you're getting faked out too, because you're never sure which car is following which car. Like that's an interesting part of that whole scene.
He gives to the discombobulation of like that landscape, right? Like in the weird things that like that can be done with these like endless, like just sprawling. It's a chase scene, but it's not like the traditional movie chase scene. It's almost like you don't know where the distance is. You can't tell how close he is to her or anything. It's just crazy.
Which pays off when she stops her car right at the top of a hill. And
I was going to say that, like it's sort of. Well, I'm always thinking in terms of Crypto K and the parent thesis, which is like 2 points in time generating a third, and basically that's what these hills are doing, are kind of like that is kind of a sine wave or something going up and down and up and down, and she stops at the midpoint, and that's like where the crash happens, and that's the cross. That's sort of like when, you know, December 21st 2012 hit December 22nd. We moved on.
Yeah, because they had a name for that in the Mayan calendar. Like it was a junction over like what people called the Stargate, or it was basically a time signature of like spanning this long, like almost like a pause, right? Like it's kind of interesting when you say it and kind of associate, because I've seen people do that with 2012 a lot before 2012 happened. Like there was one guy who had totally taken the movie Speed and analyzed all of this shit. But like once you get past 2012, it almost feels like the pop consciousness doesn't take it seriously anymore. And it feels like this is kind of evidence of like it's still reverberating on the other side, so to speak. And it was, I feel like a lot of people don't understand. I think 2012 had a lot to do with technology. Like 2012 was like the signifying year of most people having a smartphone and so forth.
Yeah.
I think that's legitimately the year I got a smartphone. I held out until 2012. That's right.
Well, I mean, not to keep bringing it back to this, but CryptoK, Sean published his website, Cryptocubrology, on December 21st, 2012.
Oh, wow.
So there's like a personal thing that's when that whole started.
Who posted? Wait.
Sean fella, you know?
Yeah, where's that guy at?
He passed away. You didn't know?
He did.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. I almost forgot that. So you weren't the arbiter of CryptoK. You're just the one who
I didn't
controls
coin
it
it.
now.
Yeah, he coined it. He came up with the whole. He started it, and I kind of came in, and we finished it, developed it together, and then.
When did he pass away?
Last May.
Wow.
Yeah, sucked. Some bullshit.
Really?
So,
Was
but
he taken out?
No, I mean he just got sick, probably some sort of cancer of some kind.
Oh, that's rough. How old was he?
He was 66.
Okay. So he started that. That's wild.
Yep, he started it, and so I'm kind of on a mission now to finish it, get something on the record. Project CryptoK coming 2020X.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway.
2020X, huh?
Soon.
What does that mean? 20.
It just means that I'm hopefully in the next couple of years, before 2030,
before 2-3,
before the big 2-3, and certainly before 2037.
Why? It's because that's your end date. Is that your end date, bro?
No comment.
Shit, fuck. All right. What about you, Noah? As far as apocalypses go, when is your astrology knowledge end date?
There's no end date.
There's no end date.
We're coming back. We were always coming back.
Oh, I wanted to point this out real quick. Tony Goldwyn, born May 20, 1960. This is the day before Jeffrey Dahmer. So, like, that's kind of funny.
The day before.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Friday the 13th was his debut, guys. The Last Samurai. I forgot that he was in that. The thing about Tony is that he's almost a chameleon, and the same way that what's her name, Julia, whatever, she damn it, why did I forget her name all of a sudden? But there's certain things that he's been in that you didn't realize it was him.
Yeah, almost everything usually, because he's pretty nondescript.
He's pretty nondescript, and he is actually really good. Like he's one of those President Fitzgerald Grant III. That's what his name is, and Scandal.
So I've got another thing about Paul Thomas Anderson. I noticed in some of his earlier films, he seems to use a time code. Okay. Which is whenever Okay, how am I going to explain this succinctly? Okay, so the houses within astrology, okay, are essentially 2-hour spaces of time throughout the day. So there's 12 houses. Okay. Now, this changes based on what time of year it is. But if you go to like an equinox, you're basically looking where the celestial equator and the ecliptic align. You're looking at 2-hour spaces of time. So without looking at a date, you can get an idea of where the sun is at via the houses. And the houses represent all of the worldly concerns. It's everything that happens in physical reality is described by these houses, okay, by the time of day. So I started looking at every time there's a time in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, it meaningfully relates to that house. Okay. And I made a YouTube video like exploring the astrological houses through the films of Paul Thomas Anderson. Okay.
Video.
What's that?
I watched that video.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You enjoy that?
It's good.
Yeah, nice. So this was made after Licorice Pizza, before One Battle After Another. So I was, obviously interested to see, okay, how is this trend going to continue on? Okay. So within the movie, now I'm not saying Paul Thomas Anderson saw my YouTube video. I have no evidence of that. But if he did, then what happens in One Battle After Another is a bit of a troll. Okay. It's a bit of a troll. If he were to have seen it, which he could have seen it before filming was completed on this movie, because there are some time codes in it. Okay. There are a couple time codes which work. Okay. Like, actually I took notes. I'll just quickly sort of like run through some of this stuff.
You can share your notes too, just like Alex did, if you want us to see what
it's not that interesting. So basically, like they're transporting Sean Penn. There's like at 6 p.m. your shuttle leaves to go meet the Christmas adventurers. It's at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is the descendant. If you're looking at on the equinox, if you're looking at a really equal distribution of time, that means other people. It can also mean open enemies, the 7th house cusp. Okay. And they wind up being his enemy in the end. They're the ones who kill him, right? So that's kind of an interesting foreshadowing if it was done consciously. And by the way, Paul Thomas Anderson in his films references astrology pretty regularly, to the point that in the other Thomas Pynchon novel, there's actually some pointed mundane astrology stuff that's beyond just sun sign. So like he seems to be hip to astrology. Like it seems to be something he's interested in. So, okay, this one's kind of like more obscure. Sometimes I'll just take numbers as the numbers of the houses, because it's first house, second house, third house. So Sean Penn, when they ask, do you have any debts? He says, I bought a jet ski, but it was defective. I refused to pay it. And he says it's almost a crypto K, right? I don't know.
He says that at 42 minutes.
Oh, interesting. Because the model number is 235. He says it's whatever the company.
Because I know I made a tweet about this actually.
Okay.
I find it. About this very quote.
So he's the jet ski number is 235. That ropes in the second house of money, and he refuses to pay it.
A hummingbird whispered to 238, called the dynamite dolphin 335. It was defective. And that was at 42 minutes.
That's amazing. And then the third house is of short-term travel, short distance travel, just around the neighborhood. Well, a jet ski you're not going across the ocean on, right? It relates to third house travel. And then the fifth house of recreation, a jet ski is for fun, right? So it meaningfully connects those three houses together. So this is minor stuff. This is not like super, super fascinating. He gets home at 3 a.m. when we first meet him and his daughter again, Leo and his daughter. I'm forgetting the guy's name, Bob. He's Bob in the movie, but that's his fake name. She's like, you came home at 3 a.m. last night, and 3 a.m. falls right in the middle of the second house, which is the gates of Hades. It specifically relates to money and values and all these things, but he's driving drunk and all this stuff. So there's a certain interesting connection there. Okay, there's a bunch of other stuff. Then when they're raiding the house, when they're raiding his like trailer or whatever they live in, they walk past a calendar and it's just all these times written on the calendar. I'm like, God damn it, are you kidding me? How am I going to make sense of this? So I screenshotted that stuff and I don't even know where it is. I tried to find it before to share. So there's that. But then in the second act, there's this key plot point where they keep asking, what time is it? And that's the part of his revolutionary thing that he forgets. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. This is his key plot point. And there's a moment where he says, what time is it? And the sensei is just like, it's 8:15. And 8:15 puts you into the 5th house of children, and he's trying to find his daughter. So
isn't 8:15 like related to Lost too? Because it's like Flight 815.
Could
I
be.
believe.
I don't know.
I never forget. You know, it is. Yeah, it is. Flight 815 is the fictional flight. It's the lost, the lost plane. Anyway.
Okay.
Wait,
So
what is this?
Well, he just says he says. Well, they're asking what time is it? What time is it? That's the part of the thing he forgets. And then Benicio's character hears that, and he's just obliviously like, "It's 8:15," trying to just saying what time it is. And so but
yeah,
8:15 is also the flight number of the plane in Lost that crashes on the island. All the people
Lost plane
who are really dead. So it's kind of.
Oh well, okay.
So
hey, I got this weird. If you
I just want to finish my little thing here.
Oh yes, please.
So 8:15 is the house of children, which absolutely relates meaningfully. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This fits in perfectly. But the actual code is time doesn't exist, yet it controls us anyways. Which I thought was like, okay, all right. So I don't know. Like, I mean, if I knew he watched my video, I'd be like, he put that in on purpose, you know? So it's
I felt that kind of way about just in general about like my crypto case stuff of like the time, you know.
Oh yeah.
The 666 weeks and so forth.
Yeah, totally.
What does he say? Time doesn't exist, but it controls us anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Very
cool. And actually, so 666 weeks after the 2012, and I did notice, and I'm always forecasting ahead, 42 weeks after One Battle After Another is going to be when the Odyssey comes out.
Oh, wow. Wow, interesting.
So the next chapter.
Interesting. And, you know, like Paul Thomas Anderson directly references Odyssey in Magnolia after he'd been to visit the Eyes Wide Shut set. So,
right.
There's like a meaningful connection there.
I assume that Nolan doing the Odyssey is like some way of like gonna best doing Kubrick without doing Kubrick. Like,
I have to say I'm so personally disappointed it's Nolan doing Odyssey. I feel like he's not the right director for this. Bothers me.
I might agree with you. I don't know. I mean, the cool thing is I think that he's trying to pad a little bit of our discontent with him being the director by doing it with practical effects only. But I don't know if that's enough. I'm not sure if this belongs to him. And it kind of
he's emotionally dead. Like, his films are so like a robot made them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not wrong. Sorry for your loss, Mrs. Gordon. But
there's so much. I want the Paul Thomas Anderson Odyssey. And by the way, when I read Iliad, I make that movie. I saw that's one of those books I read so cinematically. I can see like this animated thing where Hephaestus is making the shield that contains like all of reality within it, just like zooming into him making the shield, and you just have this animation of, like all Greek society. I don't know. There's some awesome stuff.
It's just interesting. In the book for 2001: A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke makes the point out of saying that after everybody else is wiped out and Hal's gone, there's still a length of time where he has to make it to where, because it's actually in Saturn in the book and not Jupiter, but he's got to go this distance by himself. And he does these things to make himself feel more human. And one of those is waking up every morning to shave. He keeps a clean face just because he's like, you know, because you would kind of expect he doesn't have to. He's almost in prison now. He can be like a castaway, like Robin Crusoe, and grow this big ass, thick ass beard. But he doesn't. He wakes up and he does his military style that. And he also listens to the Odyssey, and he just has the Odyssey on loop. And the Odyssey just keeps playing the whole tale until he gets to Saturn, which is just fascinating.
In the book,
yes.
He's listening to the Odyssey?
He's listening to the Odyssey over and over and over and over, like looped.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Like an audio book. And it's just kind of, it's impact, because the book is a lot of people think that Arthur C. Clarke is one of the most boring sci-fi writers because he's overly realistic. Like there's a scene in the Space Odyssey where they go through the asteroid belt, and they perform this whole mission of sending something out to hit one of the asteroids. But they make the point out of saying, like, the asteroids are a lot further away than like our science book shows us. Like there, or like Star Wars, you see asteroids everywhere, and that's not true. Like those asteroids are like miles and kilometers in this distance, and so the astronauts have to sit and do this math to get the trajectory right, and they sit there and watch as their projectile hits the asteroid. That confirms all their maths, and it's the most boring thing you've ever fucking read in your life. But because it's like realistic. But he goes through this lonely period of where Bowman is drifting to Saturn to meet the monolith, and he's just listening to the Odyssey over and over and over and over again. It's fascinating. Can I share you guys this weird Tony Goodwin like sync? It's definitely a sync. I don't know what it means, but I found a key word of his. You guys want to see this?
Might as well.
Well, okay, so this is again is not relationship to the movie so much. So I noticed in Friday the 13th, it was, if you go down here, it says it was the final film that features Tommy Jarvis as the protagonist and marked Tony Goodwin's first film.
When did that come out?
That came out in 85.
And the specific release date?
August 1st.
Okay.
1986, it actually says. I guess it was made as 1986. So August, yeah, okay. So August 1st, 1986. But I noticed this word kept coming up. The Last Tattoo, The Last Word. Okay, and there's more. The 6th day is the last day, basically. But The Last Samurai, guys. The last house on the left.
Huh.
And I mean, I guess you could figure. I guess there's a lot more, like with the Last Mile. I think that there's more down here in ones that he's directed.
The L Word.
Yeah.
The L Word. I noticed that also. Tarzan, the Moon, the L Word, The Last Kiss. That he's directed, but also like with the Jason movie. It's the last movie that stars another individual. Like it's that person's final, it's Tommy Jarvis's last final film. And I bet you there's some more puns in there dealing with him. Like you could probably apply that to most everything that he's done. Like it's the last movie that this person did, or the last movie that this person did, or do you get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Nixon, he's the last president that such and such and such, whatever, you know?
He plays Stan in The Last Word.
The Last Word.
The same year as Nixon.
Nixon's
Stan.
Last Word.
He doesn't last.
I mean, the back tune, I mean, that's sort of like the last back tune, you know? That's what they were kind of trying to argue.
Oh, yeah, right. That makes perfect sense.
The Last Word.
So yeah, because I mean, like you said, Ghost, there's a lot of like weird number things. Goes one of the main sources of the 42. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. That's an incredible. I just watched that recently, and that recognized that whole scene where
the 42
42s are everywhere, and that's the scene where he and the ghost guy, or he and the ghost guy, they're both ghosts, but they're trying to learn how to.
What I get for drag, man.
Interface with the physical reality. So that's literally 42 is literally like on the walls of the training zone between the dead and the living. It's kind of, that says a lot there. And then 237 is like the account number of the account that he steals from. Tony Goldwyn steals the money from.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, yeah, sure.
Thing happening, so it's all freaking 237. And then I don't know, Demi Moore's connected to it because she's in it, and then she just was in The Substance, which came out around the same time as.
I have a shit ton of Demi Moore. I gotta go through. I got DVDs because I couldn't find most of the stuff that I wanted on Demi Moore. In streaming,
it's weird because you want more, but it's only half. It's only half, so you need more. Demi Moore.
I don't know, man. There was something pretty Canadian about that comment.
Well, you know, like she can only have a man half her age, right? Demi Moore. There you go.
Give me more, give me more, give me more.
And
Oh,
she's married.
another.
She's still married to Bruce Willis. They're not married, but she used to be married to Bruce Willis.
She used to be married to Bruce Willis, but there's
You
this
know,
whole string
taking
of
us back to the bear. Stanley as a bear.
one of the main thing that she's in is The Seventh Sign, or the movie about the seals.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
where she has like the last like
that too.
What's that?
I was just watching that too.
The
seventh sign.
Yeah. But there's a whole bunch right here. She plays a whore who both Sean Penn, your boy Lockjaw, and Robert De Niro try to have sex with her. They try to give her money, like $5 to have sex with her. And then she's in Ghost. So I feel like, and then Nothing But Trouble, The Butcher's Wife. I think all of those are like related. I think St. Elmo's Fire. She's got this like Whore of Babylon thing. One Crazy Summer, she definitely has it. There's weird stuff in that, but I have a whole bunch of these movies on The Scarlet Letter. That would make sense, right?
Yeah.
She's Esmeralda in Hunchback. I mean, of course, then you have like Striptease. G.I. Jane is important.
Well, Indecent Proposal too. You skip past that one with your theme.
Yeah. For sure. Scarlet Letter and Indecent Proposal would, of course, be like related, right? Have you guys ever seen The Butcher's Wife?
No.
Highly recommended and really, really loaded. Like you can see the Twin Towers are right there. Really, really super loaded with like, there's like weird scenes where like the Twin Towers are in reflections of the windows that the actors are framed in. It's crazy. It's crazy. And all around, centers around this idea of Plato's called the split apart, that souls are split apart and then find each other later. But you can't, that's not even a real theory. It's a weird, like 9/11 infused movie.
The Butcher's Wife. Yeah.
Look at that.
You see, this is why you've got the most, I don't know what to say, obscure holes here. I'm sure that you're right. Like, it's 9/11 is basically in every movie ever made.
It really kind of is. I feel like 2012 is kind of like in every movie in a way too. Like, and it really depends on, this is why I don't like syncing to like current events. People do it a lot, and it seems to be it's a convincing way for people to know that there's something like in the tone of simulation theory of what we're dealing with, as far as like some like coding in the Matrix. And you do it really well, because especially with deaths, I don't like to sync with deaths, but I feel like it always happens, but what happens is that information that you've gathered is only like useful for a short amount of time before people no longer care. And so I feel like the whole 9/11 punch that we got from sync really came to the individuals who lived it. And then through the spread of the internet, we're able to go back and find out all of these things on 9/11 that they kind of knew weren't right. And then you were able to go back and find old material and scan comic books or screenshot videos, you know what I'm saying? And say like, here's the number 42, here's this, here's that. That all like came because of the internet. Of course, I think people were like relating to movies, of course, before then, like Philip K. Dick. I mean, I think Valis was made in the 80s. I know that the Branch Davidians, of course, were doing it in the 90s, but it really became like synchromysticism with the invention of like, or the spread of the internet, the availability of old media, kind of.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, well, it's being able to see everything at once, see the whole history at once. And that's what like the AIs are doing. That's and that's what that's what the internet has been building towards, is AI. And
it really has. And I think that were you a fan of AI, Alex? I mean, are you using, of course you're using it for crypto, okay,
well,
right?
I was not for a while, but until about a couple months ago, I started to, and I've been using it quite a lot, but not in like a, I don't know, it's more just like, it's like it's helping me structure things, helping me formalize things, but I don't like use it to generate
Well, I
content.
mean, I've done both, but you're right. The main thing is it helps you like formulate your ideas, so to speak, because
Yeah,
it does give you validation. It doesn't give you very much pushback, but it will
yeah,
help organize your thoughts, so to speak.
yeah. And I mean, it's really an interesting subject, the overlap between all this information that I have and AI, because like what happens when you I don't know, I guess you can't really put too much stock in what the AI really says, because it's just a vapor of language spun into itself, and it disappears as soon as it's not there. But like,
Yeah.
as Mark Leclerc wrote in his essay, like about the monolith and how it's a nothing, it's the no thing, it's literally it's a zero. So, but it is like your own mind kind of reflected back at you. And so Crypto K, there's like a real synergy between this stuff, but it's really early, so I shouldn't really talk about it too much, about like what's actually valid and what's worth talking about. I'm really just using it to help write my book, basically. So not like write the book, but you know what I mean, like
Not the
structure.
book. I mean, I imagine it would help you because you do direct it. I don't think people realize like how much you can curb and so you can feed information to your chat bot and then have it kind of collect that and organize it for you. And
Sure.
so if an individual has like sourced research, it can help. There's a thing that I've been using that is used by Ivory schools. I can't remember what it's called. I know it has the word ivory in it at the very beginning, but it's an AI that helps you like consolidate and chat to multiple documents at a time. And for somebody who's
Yeah.
like reading or writing a book and has read a whole bunch of other books that they want to source, that is like so invaluable, where you can
Yeah.
put it in there and say like, hey, how do I blah, 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 blah. And then it will just tell you, this is where those topics are talked about.
Yeah, I have done that. Like I've got, it's called Notepad something, and I've got, basically Sean and I email each other every day for the like 10 years developing all this stuff, and he and I, we've collated and compiled those emails into PDFs just to keep them as like archives, so we can like search through them. But now I got this AI thing where you can do exactly what you say, upload all your different sources. So I've uploaded our entire email correspondence to the AI chatbot, as well as all my writings and all Mark Leclerc's writings, and like everything else I feel is relevant. And then I can have it just like this stew of stuff. I could just say, hey, pull up, tell me what Sean Penn, tell me what everything we ever said about Sean Penn, and it'll like bring it up. And it's like, this is an incredible tool. But
Yeah, it is. I just don't, I mean, I understand the people's reception of it. There's a lot of talk, especially among the religious people that I know, of AI being evil or some sort. But
yeah,
like I feel about like there's certain things that you can't have done unless the internet already existed. And it feels like that there's like a nestle time of like how long the internet has to go before a civilization would have AI. But I feel like you could almost set you could try civilization multiple times and you would probably have the same result every time. You get what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And it would,
Yeah. This is the track. This is what the DNA or whatever is doing with us.
it's doing to us. Yeah.
And it might be done already, and it might be ready to reset.
And I don't like the negativity of like bringing kids in the world and then having to deal with it being the apocalypse. However, it feels like, after all of the prophecies that there's always like there's a judgment day. I mean, I think that's like what the Revelation is basically pointing to in the Bible, is like there's supposed to be an end point where things are held accountable. Because I mean, what we're trying to do with our day-to-day life is either remember everything or archive everything that comes out of our life, right? Like you say, with all of our writings or so forth, we're trying to compile them. But I think it would get to the point where it's like everything's recorded, right? Right? Like, I mean, is that what the singularity is? Is not only is everything recorded, but everything is like playbackable for like the normal person because of whatever, like technology chip or whatnot. Like and I think that most people deal with whether that's a negative or a positive thing to them. Like, is the singularity perpetrated by Satan, or is it perpetrated by the good guys? Like, and how can you tell the difference? Like bringing it back to the movie, I had a hard time.
Are we still talking about one battle after another? Oh my goodness! Hail Saint Nick! We're back.
We're back, and we're back. But I mean, like, who is the bad guy? Like, when we're talking about like the Christmas group, right? The secret society who worship, it's supposed to be like this innocuous thing. Like, how could anybody say that worshiping or talking about Santa Claus is like a bad thing? But then there's like, it's like Hail Satan. It's like Hail Saint Nick, and like Satan's name is Nick. You know what I mean? It's like it's weird, bro. It's weird because it's like saying one thing is like a good thing, but it's actually a bad thing. And how do you deal with that in one battle after another? I mean, is the mother bad? I mean, the only good person, right?
Perfidia.
The two good people are Benicio del Toro and fucking Leo, right? Are those the guys who did the right thing?
Benicio is absolutely pure good. Yeah, other than his drinking and driving, just the fact. But I have to say, the fact that like Leo's in this hard time, he's like, dude, just take a beer. We're good. Like just go here. No, chill. You need to bring.
But at the same time, he's like orchestrating all of this other nonsense that Leo has no idea about.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, totally. But also an interesting thing about the Christmas Adventurers is it specifically ties in the Saturn Jupiter nature of Christmas and Saint Nick, because the adventure is Jupiter, right? But then there's the like the rigid adherence.
It's both of them mixed.
The rigid adherence to lineage and tradition is the Saturn part. But they're Christmas adventurers. They're going around the world, and Sean Penn joins it because he wants to find his love. You see, if you look at the song, and perfidy, by the way, is a word that means someone who can't be trusted. So Perfidia is definitely not a hero, although Paul gives her enough credit to have her story at the end, the letter to her daughter, right? Like she gets a bit of like, she was in a tough spot and she was just a kid. She was just a kid making bad decisions in the end, right?
I just saw her and Lockjaw as two poles of the same. Opposite poles of the same spectrum. To tie what that tangent that we went on back to the movie, I just asked for some crypto K analysis of one backtoon after another. And it's mostly bullshit, but there's one sentence that I like.
That's awesome. That's the nature of reality. One backtoon after another. So we're all
the cross is the X. It is the X of Malcolm X, the radicals, the X of Generation X. In the title, Back 10 Cross implies the crucifixion of time. We are crossed out of the old calendar and nailed to the new one. And then it says, the battle is the war for reality itself. The cross is the intersection where the analog world died and the digital world began. And
listen, and that relates to what I'm talking about with the houses, because I view Christ being crucified upon a cross, because the cross can be the solstices and the equinoxes,
right? The solar cross,
but it's also the midheaven, the IC, the ascendant, and the descendant. It's also correlated to the daily path of the sun, and the 4 moments where there's more light than darkness, where the light starts to recede after the midheaven, where the light is less than the darkness once it goes below the horizon. That's the cross. And the cross of the houses, which I'm talking about via the time code, is the houses of worldly concerns. This is your job, it's your family, it's how you put yourself out in the world, it's your money, it's all these things are connected to these houses. So it directly relates there. And also one more, because there was one other interesting time code that was coded into it. When Bob is arrested and he's in the hospital, okay, and he's like, it's all like immigrants who are like helping him, who are involved in the revolution, who are like, you have diabetes, right? You have diabetes. Did you take your insulin? No. Did you take your insulin today? So they're like helping him out. And then another nurse comes and whispers, you're going to go through that door. You're going to go down the stairs. And then he gets back to the sensei, right? After he gets arrested. He walks out a door, and it's very prominent. The door number is 326. Okay. Now, if you add it together, you get to 11, and the 11th house of friendship. It was his friends who helped him get out of the situation.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
now,
327 is across the hall.
Right. It would be one away from 327.
Oh, yes. All right.
Yeah, that's like a cool trick, man, because there's some like movies where it's like they're in like the 24th or the 23rd, the opposite ones on the other side. But okay, so wait though. We've gone an hour, so need like each of you to consolidate a little bit of a conclusion here, and then we'll placate what you guys do, and we'll head on out.
Sure.
So Noah, final conclusion, bro.
Oh wait, Alex was talking. Let Alex
You're on
go.
top though.
Oh, all right. Fine. Listen, my point is the timing of this film is suspicious. Okay, the fact that things are popping off in Minneapolis. We're about to have an eclipse on Donald Trump's descendant. Okay, like this is and Saturn's in Aries now, where government is weak. Government is too feisty for Saturn, right? It's about to conjunct Neptune on the 20th. Right before that, like I think the 17th is the eclipse on Donald Trump's descendant. Like, I don't know. The end of this month is going to be insane. So I want to talk about this movie just because it relates to this time so greatly. And like Will, you'd mentioned that people are saying this is Paul Thomas Anderson's weakest film. I've only seen it twice. And generally, I don't like his films on the first watch, but I trust him enough. I'm like, I got to go back and see it again. I've only seen it twice. The third time is where you really start to see where it's going, right? Because the second time you watch a movie, you know what the ending is, so you can start to see how it's been pieced together properly. And then the third time, you know how it's pieced together, and then you can get to a higher level with it. So I wanted to watch it a third time, but this sort of came up too quick, and I've been busy. But yeah. I mean, my point being, it's just an interesting thing. I wanted to see what you guys had to say about it, what you thought about it, because it does feel like a far more commercial movie than anything else he's made. Feels
I think that might be why people think it's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other movies that have. I mean, Magnolia had a poor reception,
which is insane. And to this day, it's not viewed as the masterpiece it is.
Yeah,
like like people still don't like that movie.
A lot of people don't like Licorice Pizza either. A lot of people don't like Phantom Thread. It seems like
it's pretty unanimous. People love There Will Be Blood, though.
Yeah, that
one is just cool as hell and sick as fuck. And
I think that there's a lot of implications. Like, it's funny because you and I have talked about Wes Anderson, right, Alex?
Yeah.
And it's okay. So I'm kind of fascinated by
I call him listen, this is a Paul Thomas Anderson thing. I call him Les Anderson as far as I'm concerned.
But I do like.
Well, they all bow before Paul W.S. Anderson.
The voices of Tarantino, the voices of Anderson, and the Wes. You get what I'm saying? Like Paul, like there's a difference in how they present stuff. There's a dialogue, like you said it one time when we were talking about Anderson. Like there's a diorama, like look to everything he does there, but all of them seem to be loaded in the aspect that they're multiple watches. Like there's like hidden things or things that you don't notice until you think about them for days later.
Oh, but
know?
by the way, it's like you mentioned Quentin Tarantino, like him and Paul Thomas Anderson are really close friends, right?
Yes.
And this movie feels more like has a lot of shots that seem very Quentin Tarantino inspired.
Yes.
A lot of pacing of the first half hour seems like he's like, how am I going to make this revolutionary thing look like a Quentin Tarantino movie?
I think that I don't know what I think about that. And maybe that's why people are a little bit, because you said it was more commercialized. And I think it's more digestible, like, because there's some discombobulation that happens within Magnolia. It's almost too smart. And I don't want to accuse him of dumbing it down or saying that Quentin Tarantino's movies are less sophisticated than his. But I think there is something of that going on here. Like he downshifted the veneer of his to almost look like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's dumbing down, but it smells like dumbing down. I mean,
it feels like he's not making as deep a film as he usually does, but he fell back on this father-daughter dynamic to get and the mother running away to get the emotional core of it.
It is some deep stuff going on here, but it's in this way that's like so less obvious and say like there will be blood. You know what I mean? Like it's fantastic. But there's not, I don't know if it like deserves like an Oscar. And I think that's why everybody's saying it's not his best or whatnot. But I think
if it wins an Oscar, then you know it's his worst movie. Anything that wins an Oscar, it's just,
Or Alex, what's your conclusion on One Battle After Another?
My conclusion, my 5-bag review, 5 bags of popcorn and a little Glock.
Glock
for fun. Glock keychain. I don't know. I mean, I love the movie. As a movie, I thought it was like just skillfully made and beautiful to look at. The sound was incredible, and I mean, but it was also just kind of forgettable in a way.
Well, you've only seen it once though, so we can't.
But I don't like feel compelled to go back. Like I don't.
I do now.
Maybe I should have because I was doing a podcast about it, but I already did a podcast about it. So
there's a shot. One of the best shots. One of my favorite shots in the movie is they find the hole. They kick his bed over. He gets down a hole to get out, and it's just like he's got like kind of a mandala like this, and you see that mandala at the top of a cavernous hole. Is this amazing shot with the cops like looking in.
There's so many amazing shots. I mean, it was an unbelievably like cinematography just off the chain movie. Like that's what I go to movies for. So that's why I consider Anderson's movies so truly cinema.
In terms of cinematography, it might be his best film. In terms of shots, in terms of just how it looks.
Yeah, might be.
I kind of sway that way just on the car scene.
Yeah,
like. There was something that I didn't like it at first, and then as it kept going, I was just like,
and I mean, there was an element to it, the political element to me that I just found like, it's just, and not even like the surface level of like, but it's like the conclusion of it. It's just like, well, just get an iPhone and just whatever. I don't know. It's just, is that the best we've got?
Is that the best we got for the wrap up?
Whatever.
I mean, in a way, it did feel like a 1970s movie in that way. Like I think maybe that has a little bit to do with how we're tying it to Tarantino, because there's something to Tarantino's whole filmology that looks like it's totally influenced by the decade of the 1970s in cinema.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't dismiss this because. The ending, just get an iPhone. It's like, no, that's the monolith. That's the monolith that's finally materialized and
how
the entire reality into this fucking screen. So the battle is no longer in the reality; it's in the digital world.
How do you feel the ending was just get an iPhone?
I don't know. I guess I just remembered the scene of him finally acquiescing at the end, and like he's finally got a smartphone and he's like thinking around on it, and it's like, well, now I'm happy. I don't need to worry anymore.
Monkey with the monolith.
Just get my Verizon subscription and
Oh, that's funny. Right.
And happily ever after.
yeah. Hail
So
Satan.
here's what you were talking about right here on the syncbook.com.
Did
Always
that with
record.
your former broadcast partner Douglas Bowles and Snore, and I think it was a big reunion. They had S.J. Anderson and Dennis.
It was
even
on your
got the
birthday,
call.
wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, it was on my birthday. I didn't remember that, but it looks like it was, or at least it was published on my birthday. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you guys had it a month or so before.
265 is by the way, that's the Vesica Pisces number. 265 over 153 is the Vesica Pisces ratio. So that's interesting. But
this, of course, is from the syncbook.com. On Twitter, we'll just go to our conversations. I'm going to show our chats,
you're
gentlemen.
doxing yourself.
Yeah, I'm doxing myself.
To beware if you ever message Will. He will live stream your chats.
So right here we have Crypto OK. You can find Alex stuff. Right here is Noah.
Listen, any pictures of my dog? It was AI. It wasn't real.
thought you were going to say something other than your dog. There's no pictures of your dog. So this is your Twitter. Also, though, if you go down here, you can find your blog spot.
Yeah.
Facing
and
North.
My Patreon, Facing North Astrology at Patreon. If you want to get some readings done and stuff, you can go there.
Right. And you have YouTube as well.
Yep. Dig up. These are the shows I've been doing with Exertus, like live streaming some astrology shows. But if you go down, my Paul Thomas just relates to this video. If you go down right there, exploring the astrological houses, go up, exploring the astrological houses through the films of Paul Thomas Anderson. You might want to watch that. That's a sort of feature-length documentary about all the time codes in his movies.
You're gonna have to update it.
Bam.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Gentlemen, thank you guys. I'll probably see you around. Of course, I'll see you in the Twitter chats.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for being so active. We didn't really pay attention to the chat. You guys are sorry about that, but you guys were definitely active. I appreciate you guys always hanging around, and we'll see you next egg. All right, guys. Please subscribe.
Don't eat the eggs. Don't eat the eggs. It's rabbit poop.
Yeah. What's inside of each meta egg is a joke. It's not a yolk. It's a joke. You guys never forget that. We'll talk to you soon.
Nice.